The young navigator stared at the holographic map floating before her. Her four eyes blinked in confusion as she traced the glowing lines of charted space. Trade routes connected 1,000 worlds. Jump gates linked distant galaxies. Every corner of known space had been documented, measured, and by the great civilizations of the Galactic Council. Except for one region. A massive black void sat at the edge of the display. No trade routes entered it. No jump gates connected to it. The cartographic lines simply stopped, as if the universe itself had ended. Navigator, the captain's voice rumbled from behind her. Why do you stare at the forbidden zone? Turn to face Captain, a massive with skin like stone and eyes that glowed with ancient wisdom. He had sailed between stars for 300 years. He had seen wonders that would break lesser minds. But when he looked at that black void on the map, something flickered in those ancient eyes. Something that looked very much like fear. I don't understand, Captain said softly. The Council has mapped 98% of reachable space. We have over 2 million star systems. Why is this region blank? The captain was silent for a long moment. Around them, the bridge crew of the merchant vessel grew quiet. Even the hum of the engine seemed to fade. Because that is where they live, finally answered. The humans. The word hung in the air like poison, felt her scales tighten against her skin. She had heard the name before, whispered in dark corners of space stations and spoken in fearful tones by traders who had ventured too close to the void. But she had always assumed they were myths, stories told to frighten young navigators. Humans are real, she asked. Captain walked slowly to the viewing window. Outside, the stars burned cold and distant. I have sailed these stars for 3 centuries. I have faced pirates in the Crimson Nebula. I have survived the flesh-eating storms of 7. I have negotiated with the mind-readers of Prime. Nothing in this galaxy has ever truly frightened me. He paused. Except for the one time I met a human. Moved closer, what happened? The captain's massive hands gripped the railing before the window. His stone skin cracked slightly under the pressure. I was young then, foolish. I took a contract to deliver medical supplies to a colony on the edge of Council space. The route passed close to the forbidden zone, too close as it turned out. He turned to face her and saw something she had never seen in those ancient eyes. True terror, buried deep but never forgotten. Our engines failed near a small planet. We sent out distress signals on all frequencies. For 3 days, nothing. Then a ship appeared. It was small, primitive by our standards. No plasma shields, no quantum drives, just metal and fire and something they called nuclear propulsion. It was a human ship. The bridge was completely silent now. Every crew member had stopped their work to listen. They boarded us, continued. We had weapons, but their leader told us to put them away. He said they were there to help, and he smiled when he said it. They helped you? Asked, confused. But the legends say humans are monsters. That is what makes them so terrifying, the captain replied. They fixed our engines, they gave us food and water. They asked for nothing in return, and before they left, their leader warned us to stay away from their space. He said it was for our own protection. Protection from what? From them, from what they become when they are threatened, shook his head slowly. I did not understand then. I thought they were being arrogant. So I asked him what made humans so dangerous. What could possibly make the entire Galactic Council fear a species that had only discovered space travel a few centuries ago? Leaned forward, what did he say? He said that humans evolved on a death world, a planet where everything tried to kill them. The weather, the animals, even the microscopic organisms in their water. Every day of their existence was a battle for survival, but they did not just survive. They conquered. They broke their own planet and rebuilt it. They turned predators into pets. They ate poison for pleasure and called it spice. They deliberately damaged their own bodies for something called fashion. The captain walked back to the map and pointed at the black void. But the most dangerous thing about humans is not their strength or their endurance or their ability to survive anything. It is their capacity for violence. When humans feel safe, they are the kindest creatures in the galaxy. They will give you the last of their food. They will die to protect strangers. They will travel across stars to help species they have never met. His voice dropped lower. But when humans feel threatened, when their families are in danger, when their homes are attacked, they become something else entirely. They become weapons. They do not fight to win. They fight to annihilate. They do not seek peace. They seek the complete and total destruction of their enemies. Thought about this for a moment. But the Council has armies. We have weapons that can destroy planets. So did the Empire, said quietly. Every scale on its body stood on end. The Empire had been one of the most powerful civilizations in galactic history. They had ruled over 1,000 star systems. They had enslaved entire species. And then, 200 years ago, they had simply vanished. Every planet, every ship, every trace of their civilization had been wiped from existence. "They attacked human space," she whispered. "It was not a question. They took a human colony, 18 million souls. They thought humans would surrender. They thought humans would negotiate. They were wrong." The captain's eyes grew distant. Within 10 years, the Empire was gone, not conquered, not defeated, gone. The humans did not stop until every last was dead. Every planet they had touched was burned. Every ship they had built was destroyed. The humans erased them from history. "But that's genocide," said, horrified. "The humans have a saying," replied. "An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind." They know the darkness of what they are capable of. They understand the monster that lives inside them. That is why they stay in their space. That is why they warn others to stay away. Not because they fear us, but because they fear themselves. He turned back to the map. The Galactic Council does not chart human space because they cannot. Every ship we send disappears. Not destroyed, simply gone. The humans do not want to be known. They do not want to be found. They have seen what they become when they interact with other species, and they have chosen isolation over annihilation. Stared at the black void. Somewhere in that darkness, billions of humans lived their lives. They loved and laughed and raised their children. They created art and music and stories. They were capable of incredible kindness and unimaginable cruelty. They were everything the galaxy feared and everything it could never understand. "There is one more story," the captain said softly. "A legend that every species in the galaxy knows but no one speaks of. The legend of why the maps stop where they do." "Tell me." "Long ago, when humans first ventured into space, the Council sent a diplomatic fleet to meet them. 100 ships carrying representatives from every major species. They wanted to welcome humanity into the galactic community, to show them the wonders of civilization beyond their small world." His voice grew heavy with ancient sadness. The humans welcomed them. They were excited to meet other intelligent life. They shared their culture, their history, their dreams. For one brief moment, it seemed like humanity would become part of something greater. What happened? Some of the diplomats grew afraid. They saw what humans were capable of. They saw the weapons humans had created to fight each other. They saw the wars that had marked human history, and they decided that humanity was too dangerous to be allowed to spread. They voted to destroy the human before humans could become a threat. Felt sick, they attacked Earth. They tried. One ship fired on the human planet, a single shot that killed millions. The captain closed his eyes. What happened next became the reason the maps stop where humans begin. The humans did not cry. They did not beg for mercy. They did not try to negotiate. They simply looked at the fleet that had come to destroy them, and they said 3 words that every species in the galaxy has heard in their nightmares ever since. What words? Captain opened his eyes and in them saw the reflection of ancient fire. They said, "Never forgive, never forget." Within one generation, Humans had developed technology that surpassed anything the Council had created in 10,000 years. They hunted down every ship that had been part of that fleet. They found every species that had voted for their destruction. And then they did something no one expected. What? They stopped. They drew a line around their space and declared that anyone who crossed it would face the same fate as those who had attacked them. But anyone who stayed outside would be left in peace. They gave the galaxy a choice: leave them alone or be destroyed. The captain turned away from the map. That is why the maps stop where humans begin, not because we cannot chart their space, but because every species that has tried has learned the same terrible lesson. Humans are not monsters. They are not gods. They are something far more dangerous. They are a species that has looked into the abyss of their own nature and chosen to contain it. But that containment has a price. Cross the line and the abyss looks back. Stood in silence for a long time. Outside the window, the stars continued their ancient dance. Somewhere beyond those stars, the black void waited. And within that void, the humans lived their quiet lives, guarding the galaxy from the one thing they feared most: themselves. Set course for the trading post on Nexus 7, the captain finally said. And navigator. Yes, captain. If you ever see a human ship, do not run. Do not fight. Do not try to negotiate. Simply bow your head and thank whatever gods you believe in that they have chosen mercy over destruction. Because the day humans stop choosing mercy is the day the galaxy ends. Looked at the black void one final time. Then she turned away and set the course for Nexus 7, leaving the forbidden zone far behind. But as she worked, she could not shake the feeling that somewhere in that darkness, something was watching. Something patient. Something ancient. Something that had chosen to sleep but could awaken at any moment. And when it did, the maps would not matter anymore. Nothing would.